Welcome to Boot2boom Now, the #1 live streaming show, the #1 live streaming entrepreneur show, taking you from bootstrap to booming. We are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and your relationships to explode. Boom! Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Boot2boom, the #1 live streaming show taking entrepreneurs from bootstrap to booming. We're here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're here to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and relationships to explode. And tonight is no different. We have an amazing show. So, as I always tell you, if you're a regular, go ahead and get that pen and paper. Get it out now. Because now, I'm going to take you through some housekeeping, and I want to make sure that you have time to do that because we're just going to have another phenomenal show with really, really good information. If you are a nonprofit, you definitely want to watch this show. If you are into creating wealth, and hopefully if you're in business, you are about creating wealth, you definitely want to watch this show. So get that pen and paper. If you don't know me, I am your host, Avalaura, and this is my amazing co-host, Jessica, who I don't think you can see her right now, but there she is. There's Jessica. And like I said, we're here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have a really, I'm excited about this show because we have something coming that Jessica's going to talk to you about in our poppin' topic. But if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and share this out. Post it up on Facebook, post it up on Twitter, share it with your social media. If you know anybody who is a nonprofit or who wants to start a nonprofit, who's interested in entrepreneurship, who wants to make more money in their business, definitely personally share it with them, give them the link, say you have to watch this show. All right. And while you're at it, go ahead in our live chat. We're always there monitoring the chat. Ask your questions, post your comments. We want to hear from you. Get the resource list that we've created for you with over $10,000 worth of resources for our entrepreneurs. Everything ranging from workshops, classes, products, anything related to entrepreneurship that's going to help you to be more successful and make more money in your business. So go ahead and get that. You can also join us, of course, in Facebook. We have an active Facebook group. Boot2boom Entrepreneur's Journey. So you can also join us there, ask your questions and comments in between shows. We get a lot of comments in between shows, and we post different articles and interviews and things that you may not see here. So go ahead and do that as well. And, and just have a good time. We have a good time here every week. We're going to educate you. We're going to give you good information, but we're also going to have a good time too. And we really want to hear the things that you're interested in. We have a new season coming, and we'll be talking about that soon. A lot of things that we're working on. So we definitely want to hear from you and know more about what it is that you want, what it is that you need in your business, what's important, what are some of the things that you might personally be experiencing that maybe we haven't talked about that we need to. So go ahead and share that with us as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Jessica's here. She hasn't said anything yet. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her and just, hand over the floor to her so she can grace you with her presence. My amazing co-host, Jessica, or as I like to call her, Jaw, because she has been making faces. She hasn't said anything, but she's definitely made her presence known by making her famous faces. So, Jaw, or Jessica Advocates Wellness, as we also call her. Jessica is an experienced online business consultant that has over a decade in assisting SME business owners in the digital media sector. Throughout her 25 years of practice, she has worked with well-known Wall Street and Fortune 500 companies. She has worked with television celebrities, healthcare providers, leading public figures, community leaders. She's worked with everybody, and she would love to work with you too. She really believes that God has put her here. She has a purpose to help you, that you have a purpose to help people too. And her purpose is really all about helping you within the digital media sector. So if you want to develop a podcast or a show, a digital media show such as Boot2boom or something else, you definitely want to reach out to her and talk to her. You can find her at bit.ly/talk2jaw.
Thank you so much, Avalaura. And now I have the pleasure of introducing you all to my co-host, as well as the founder of Boot2boom, Avalaura. Avalaura is an internationally celebrated intuitive consultant and life coach who takes her clients from whole to wholeness in their life, relationships, and business. She guides them through a powerful healing process that helps them discover who they are, who they wish to be, and how to get there. If now's the time for you to live a freedom-focused life, detox yourself of limiting beliefs that no longer serve you, and create an unrecognizable reality, then Avalaura is the guide you've been waiting for. So you can get a consultation today by emailing Avalaura at avalaura.com. Which is super duper easy, right? So you should be able to definitely jot that down and remember it. So today we are talking all about our sponsor for the night. Our sponsor for the night, we've actually partnered with Cash App. So where you can go now, conveniently receive money quickly from your friends, from family, from your mobile device or tablet, direct to your bank account, absolutely free of charge. So there's a couple of different things that you can do with this app, right? This app is ultimately, it's definitely changed my business. I can tell you that. I can tell you that it's been so easy for me to even charge people in person when I've come across individuals who wanted to purchase my book or wanted to purchase some of the services that I offer right there on the spot. My business is unique in that when people get to understand what I do as a digital media professional, they go, oh my gosh, I need your services like today. And the majority of the time I am setting up a Facebook post or putting together a campaign right there on the spot and coming up with a gazillion ideas on how to can do so, and really how to dive in and get started right away. And this way I can just text them a link and they can pay me directly. They don't have to give me any of their personal information, no credit cards, any of that. They can pay directly through the app, and I get a notification as soon as they pay. And as soon as it goes cha-ching, and actually it's really cute. Once it cha-chings, it like has like money dropping down. So it's like a money sound, like little coins dropping. And it's like, ding, 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 ding. So anyway, it just really deals with your senses and makes you feel good. So psychology wise, it's really great because you really get used to those notifications and you start to.
You want more
sound. You want more money just so you can hear that sound. So it really does trigger something in your brain to go, ooh, that felt good. So anyway. So with that, you guys, we are all about helping you build your business, right? Helping you move forward in your business. So we are giving away $5. We're giving you $5 just for downloading the app. So all you have to do is go to our link, go to bit.ly/put5on it. So as you all know, you guys know I love singing songs. I will not sing that song because it definitely has to do with some other things that we're not going to promote on this show. But you can go to bit.ly/put5 on it, and you can put 5 on your business, right? 5 on you moving forward with your business. 5 on you becoming great, right? Instead of some other things that you could probably put 5 on. Let's go ahead and put 5 in your business. So download the app.
How about just 5 in your bank account? How about
5 in your bank account.
5 in your bank account.
In your business, for your business. In your bank account, for your business. That's what I meant to say. Thanks, Avalaura. So download the app. You can download Apple, Android, whatever kind of phone you got. I know some of us iPhoners want to be down on the Androids, but you know, if you got the Androids, you can get your $5 popping too. So you can get the $5 just from joining. We want to help you move forward in your business. We also have a campaign that we'll be launching very, very soon in connection to this. So definitely share the broadcast here. Share the link out. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure that you share the link to this broadcast, to this particular show here. Make sure you go into our Facebook group. Let us know, like Avalaura said, we want to know what's going on in your business, but we also want to know that you shared the link, because we also will have some special additional prizes for you and giveaways and things to that effect. So you definitely want to be in the know by sharing. So, and there is absolutely no fees attached to this particular app. So definitely check it out.
I love it. Because y'all, I mean, we talk about getting your PayPal popping, and, I like my PayPal to pop, but I like it even better when I have no fees.
Exactly. So now we're going to move over. So we're gonna, at a certain point in time, we got to say deuces and move on over to a new platform. That's the thing about innovation, right? And things changing continuously. Something's always coming up, and we want to keep you guys. And that's my thing, right? Digital media. I always want to be up on the new app, the new software, the new X, Y, and Z platform. So I want to tell you guys about it. So, like I said, we're launching this campaign very, very soon. So you'll be getting the exclusive details. Since we are talking about wealth building today, we thought, why not support our communities? Why not, right? We have all of these things that are happening right now. And I would be remiss not to mention that right now we have Hurricane Harvey happening in Texas. And, a lot of people are hurting right now. It's really, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. But we send our prayers out to those that are, dealing with that in Texas, but we also want to make sure that our community, our people here on the ground, maybe you could take that $5 and then donate it to an organization, to the Red Cross or so on and so forth, pay it forward. But that's what we want to help you do. We want to help you pay it forward by giving you $5, giving you access to this app that can ultimately really change the whole face of your business. And you can pay it forward and definitely help out those individuals who are hurting and seeking help at this moment. So definitely check it out. We're helping you get your app popping and your business, your life and business.
It's still PayPal. We don't have to change it just yet.
No, we got to change it, because PayPal did some dirty stuff to me. So I'm like, you know what? Forget them. We're going to get your app popping, your bank account popping. They want to act a fool, then I'm not advertising for them. All right. So with that being said, moving right along.
No, but I do want to say something.
Okay.
Because you're absolutely right about Houston, and a lot of, we talk about entrepreneurship, and of course we'll be talking to our guest about it. And one of the things that I love about entrepreneurship is that for those of you who are, an entrepreneur full-time in your business, like, especially if you're near the Houston area, this is a great time to be able to go and donate your time to help. And, if we've set our businesses up correctly, you have the ability to do that. You don't have to go to a job and ask for time off, or you can just go. You create your own schedule. You might be able to do some business while you're still there. But, donating your money is great, but being able to donate your time, especially if you're in or around that area, would be a wonderful thing at this time, because that's what people really need.
Yeah, they need those hands and feet on the ground, definitely. So with that being said, in these trying times and things that are going on, I'm sure a lot of us, or if we don't have PTSD already, we are definitely experiencing just a lot of emotions right now. So Avalaura is our sponsor, and if you feel like you need to talk to her about things that are going on, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like, you need someone to talk to above and beyond. If you've given up on your dreams, if you're suffering in silence because you can't figure out how to create the life you want. I mean, especially in these days and times when you're seeing this stuff on your feed constantly, it can make you start to think of, okay, what do I need to do with my life? Because our time here is short. Our time here is limited. And we all have a purpose. Like I say in my bio, we all are here for a reason. And we are here to help other people. Our lives are not our own. Our lives are actually to give to others to help them further their own lives. It really truthfully is to impact others around us. So if you're stuck on how to do that, and you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to be doing with it, then definitely email Avalaura. Avalaura helps you move from whole to wholeness in your life, your relationships, and your business to live a freedom-focused life full of peace, abundance, and happiness. So you can contact her today by going to Avalaura. You can email her, Avalaura@avalaura.com, for a 20-minute consultation to see how she can help you.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. And I'm really, particularly right now, I think more than ever, we need that additional support. And I think people are finally waking up and realizing that. Because there is so much going on. We're just inundated every single day with something. And if you are not focused in your business, it's very easy to get distracted with everything that's going on in your personal lives, in the lives of others, and just what's out there in this digital space, or, you know, in this world that we're living in. So I definitely would love to help you with that. And we're definitely going to segue into talking to our amazing guest for this evening, who really is, you know, his passion is entrepreneurship. And I always love talking to people who are very passionate about entrepreneurship. Some people are passionate about what they do, and, you know, maybe they did hair, and so they decided that they wanted to become an entrepreneur and do hair or nails or whatever it is. But some people just love entrepreneurship. They just love business. Right. And I always think it's really cool to learn from those people, because they always have really good information because they've studied business. Yeah. So our amazing guest today is William, and he is the CEO. And I love this, y'all. This is so what's the word that I want to use? He's the CEO of the Barron Solution Group. That just sounds like, you know, just old money. Barron Solution Group. And he is the senior field chairman with First Financial Security, Inc. William was named the top 20 business icon by Exceptional People magazine. He is a 4-time award-winning lecturer and international best-selling author who uses his trademark approach, the Barron Solution. To coach, to train, to motivate nonprofit leaders, small business owners, executives, and investors. He has shared the stage with billionaires, presidential candidates, Fortune 100 CEOs, and he's also a contributor to magazine and Microsoft small business blogs, as well as a business and financial expert for networks such as CBS and Sirius XM Radio. So please join William to Boot2boom.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. Avalaura, Jessica, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, you are so welcome. We're happy to have you, and we're just looking forward to just soaking up all of your wisdom and just whatever you give us. We're just ready to receive it and take it all in. So just tell everybody, just a little bit about yourself and how you became an entrepreneur.
Wow. Well, that story goes back quite a ways. My father really planted the seeds when I was a very young child. I remember asking him for an allowance, and he said no. But one of the things I'm going to teach you how to do is to see value in things that other people can't see. So he taught me how to recycle cans, but not, how you go around and find a few cans. He taught me how to really organize other neighborhood kids, and this is before schools had their national recycling programs. But we would negotiate with schools to get their cans, and I had several $100s a month just recycling cans, and again just teaching me to see the value in things that other people couldn't see. I remember later on in high school wanting a pair of Nikes, and they had a pump on them. And he said, look, come here. And he pointed to a beat up pair of shoes I had in the corner. He said, how much do you think that pair of shoes is worth? And I said, well, probably nothing. And then he pulled up a stock chart for Nike. And he said, look, this stock has nearly doubled over a couple of years. So what is it that you want? Do you really want the pair of shoes, or do you want the stock? And it was at that point that I realized with every dollar, I was choosing to be rich or poor. And I could build wealth by moving from being a consumer to investing in the companies that were making the products and services that my friends and I were wearing and using. And then I realized I could make even greater wealth by becoming those companies that were producing the products and services and having investors invest in those businesses. And that was really the roots of entrepreneurship for me, those seeds that were planted. And, later I went on into college and had some experiences where I was investing. And then there was another level after that, which really was the tipping point for me.
I love that so much. I love it. And that's why, we always like to hear your stories. And, one of the common denominators really is, the parental guidance, or if it's not the parents, it's a teacher, a mentor, a coach, or somebody sort of guiding you along the way and offering you a different perspective. And I love that your father started so early and just, really showed you that, hey, what's more important? Like you said, is it consuming? Is it this item that you want? Or is it you building and you investing and you creating? So I think it's so awesome. And I'm from Connecticut. And yes, we definitely made money with those cans. My parents, it's one of the states that you can, get money for the cans and the bottles. And yes, I would go with my dad every week and put it in the machine and get those little coins. And I was so excited to get those little coins. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love that. So how did you translate that to starting your first business? And what was your first business?
Well, I had a lot of little kind of smaller businesses when I was a kid along the way. But later in high school, I learned about investing, and not high school, actually, in college is really where I learned a lot about investing. Along with a couple of friends in college, we started this organization called the Youth Society, which was based on three of the principles of Kwanzaa: unity, collective work and responsibility, and cooperative economics. And we brought in a financial advisor to teach us about money. Well, at that time, I went to Howard University, and at that time, it was a little too progressive for even Howard. So, it wasn't a lot of people there, but I listened to what the financial advisor had to say, and I went to see the advisor, and he, kind of set me up in some mutual funds and things at that point. But I went and I found the easiest book that I could understand on finance. And looking back, it was a self-published book. It was just horrible. But it was a starting point. And that starting point really helped me to gain some excitement about money and about business and entrepreneurship. So that book became a stepping stone to read another book and another book and another book until I developed some mastery around business and finance. And I was trying to figure out the difference between the get-rich-quick people that were kind of closer to the scam side and the get-rich people, the get-rich-before-you-die people, which is like, there had to be something in between those two. So it was really taking that time to figure out, what was going to work. And I had some success in the stock and options market at the time, not necessarily because of, my genius of investing, but it was a bull market where stocks were jumping 20, 40, 60 points in a day, and I had done pretty well for myself. And I was later worked on Wall Street for a short period of time, and one of my mentors who was there, he had just left Lehman Brothers to start his own company, and he suggested that I leave the firm I was with, and that really became a jumping off point for me. When he left, his company is now number 1 or number 2 black investment bank on Wall Street. And I remember back when I was in high school, one of the things that I wanted to do was to be a professional basketball player. Now, anyone who's ever seen me in person knows that I'm a little short guy. I'm about 5'7", but this was the era of Muggsy Bogues, 5'3", and Spud Webb, who's 5'7". But I ended up breaking my hand in high school. But I always remember people telling me, they said, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than you are to make it into the NBA. And the odds of being struck by lightning are about 1 in 700,000. The odds of making it into the NBA were 1 in a million. Well, after I broke my hand, I said, well, maybe if I can't play in the NBA, maybe I can own a team. So then I set my sights on becoming the CEO of a Fortune 100 company. Well, at that time, people used to tell me, well, you're more likely to make it into the NBA than you are to be the CEO of a Fortune 100 company, particularly as a black man. And, I read this book. It was by Reginald Lewis called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? Mm-hmm. And I saw a black man doing a buyout of $1 billion company. And I said, wow, I need to set my sights a little higher. And I realized, or at least remembered, something my grandfather used to always tell me. He said, people don't pay you to work for them. They pay you not to work for yourself. So people don't pay you to work for them. They pay you not to work for yourself. They pay you not to pursue your dream, your passion, that thing that's going to be competitive to what it is that they do. So I always live by that. is that, people don't pay you to work for them. They pay you not to work for yourself. And after that, I went for my dream all out, and, later, did some consulting for a number of different firms, wrote a book, which is called The Baron's Son. It went on to be featured in the Forbes Book Club, Black Enterprise, translated in all these different languages around the world. And it became the basis for our company, which is the Baron Solution Group.
Wow. That right there is, wow, that is so true. No, people don't pay you to work for them, but they pay you so you don't go out and do your own thing and live your best life and live your dreams and really make the contribution that you could make to the world. Wow, that's deep.
And if you think about it, most schools don't really prepare you for entrepreneurship. There's some that have some entrepreneurship programs, but they're very theoretical usually. And you have these companies that contribute to schools, that produce books and produce products that more or less manufacture a product, and those products are employees for their company. They're not to design you to be free-thinking, entrepreneurial-minded people. They're designed to give you a little bit of information, enough, and to saddle you with enough debt that you need to go work for somebody. So it's really important, and that's why we do have our Baron Young Millionaires program, where we teach business and financial skills to students. And we also work with a sorority to teach these programs to teach the program to teen mothers, because it's really catching people at a very young age before they saddle with debt and make a lot of bad decisions where they feel like they're stuck in a job that they hate and that they may not have that path to advancement. So these are the things that we try to focus on with young people, is making sure that they do understand that there is a path to financial independence, wealth, and to be able to create really generational wealth.
I love it. That's awesome. So at what point did you decide, it was going to be financial business? Because like you said, you wanted to own a team, you wanted to play in the NBA. At what point?
I was a little different growing up as a kid. I wasn't one of those, hey, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. It was, people asked me what I want to be. I said, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be wealthy. That was when I said, it didn't really matter to me what I was selling.
It didn't matter how.
Same neighborhood. Like I
just knew I needed to be on the right side of the table. I needed to be the person doing the selling as opposed to the person doing the consuming. And so for me, I always knew that I would follow that path. And I was very fortunate growing up. I had some uncles who were, self-employed, entrepreneurial type people. And there is a difference. But they reiterated how important it was to own my time. And that is one of the most important things that you can do as an entrepreneur. And that's, again, also why I try to teach young people, is to keep your expenses as low as possible and to build up forms of passive and residual income. That way you own your time. And once you get back the 40 to 60 hours a week that you would normally spend working for someone else, and you can spend that time working on your multi-million-dollar, $1 billion idea, that's where the key. I had one of my good friends, who's also a client of mine. I remember her saying how she was, working this job and she was spending, 40 hours on this job that she hated. And I said, well, why don't you go after your dream? And how much time are you spending on your dream? She says, okay, maybe about 4 hours. I said, well, right now you're spending 40 hours on your nightmare and you're spending 4 hours on your dream. What do you think you're going to get more of? So you have to own your time and begin to transition to focusing on the thing that you're most passionate about.
I hear Maxine Waters going through my head, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time.
Me too.
She definitely had it right. And that should be the mantra of every entrepreneur. I'm reclaiming my time.
Yeah. It's crazy. So now, William, you said you wasn't going to rap on here. Now you dropping straight knowledge right now. I'm telling you.
I will leave you with some jewels now. Even if they don't rhyme, I will do that.
Definitely, definitely. You definitely are doing so, sir. So give us a couple of tips here. You said that passive income is really important. What are some ways that you consult other entrepreneurs or other people that are looking to go into entrepreneurship on what they should use as passive income? Because we hear a lot of people talk about passive income, but what is it really and how do we do it?
Sure. Well, let me kind of back up a couple of. So the first thing, as I mentioned, is for an entrepreneur to own their time. And in order to really own your time, you need to figure out the value of your time. So when it comes to an entrepreneur, one of the first, and I always believe in building a business around the kind of life that you want instead of letting your business dictate your life. So again, build your business around the kind of life that you want instead of letting your business dictate your life. So what does that mean? That means that, again, you need to figure out your hourly rate. So you need to look at how much money you want to make a year, how many hours you're willing to work, how many weeks you're willing to work. So let's just say for easy math, if you wanted to make $100,000 a year, you were willing to work 50 weeks a year with 2 weeks vacation, you're willing to work a 40-hour work week, you end up with the $100,000 divided by 2,000, which is going to give you, and 2,000 hours, which is going to give you an hourly rate of about $50 an hour. So that's your hourly rate, which means that in business, you need to do things down to the lowest level of capacity, which means that if your hourly rate is $50 an hour, you doing something for free isn't free. You just spent $50 doing that thing. So you need, if you can get someone who can do it for $5, $10, $11, that's what you need to do. You need to do it down to the lowest level of capacity. That way, again, you reclaim your time. So once you do that, the next thing that you want to do when it comes to building a successful business is focusing on developing a proven business model. This is where you can take your idea and implement it on a small scale to prove to yourself and potential investors that it can work. The other thing is you want to look at bringing in an experienced management team. People who have 10, 15, 20 years of experience doing whatever it is that you want to do. Now, obviously, if you're just getting started, you can't afford to pay these people. But what you can do, if you've proven that this idea can work at some scale, you can go to these people and say, hey, would you be willing to sign a letter of intent that says you'll come into the business once I get the sufficient capital to run it? Then you take the letters of intent, you take the proven business model that you've been able to implement on a small scale, and you take that to investors and you say, look, just like in Shark Tank, what's one of the first questions they ask? What are your sales? So you do the proven business model, you've implemented it, you can say, hey, we have some sales, we've been able to demonstrate that this concept can work, and we have people who know how to run and scale this business, we need your capital. Then you take your investors and you take your management team to help you form some strategic partnerships in order to be able to grow the business. Now, what ends up happening is that this becomes a model that builds on itself that requires very little capital up front, relatively. So when you do it this way, what you notice is that these things are actually the 4 keys to building a successful business, and they're like the wheels on a car. So if you're missing any of these 4, which again is the proven business model, experience management, access to capital, and strategic partnerships, if you're missing any of those 4 things, it's like having a flat tire or no wheel on the car. You're not going to go very far, if at all. So what you want to do, and again, if you look at the success rates of your typical entrepreneurial venture versus a franchise, and franchises have much higher success rates. When you look at your typical entrepreneurial venture, you have a person that's trying to do something that's never been done, so they don't have a proven business model. They have limited to no experience doing it. Whereas you look at a franchise, they're going to train you in the processes and best practices of that business. They've got a proven business model. When you look at access to capital, most franchises are not going to let you start that franchise without a certain amount of capital, because they have capitalization requirements. But if you look at your typical entrepreneurial venture, the SBA says that 60% of small business failures result from undercapitalization, which is really lack of planning, but the fact that they don't have sufficient capital. And then also strategic partnerships. They're trying to do it alone. But if you look at franchises, they're going to have pricing pressure with all the franchisees, with suppliers, and pulling together their resources gives them an incredible advantage in order to be successful. So in building that successful business, that's what you want to look at. The proven business model, experience management, access to capital, and those strategic partnerships.
I told y'all to get your pen and paper. I mean, I just feel like I just went to business 101. Really. So I hope that you all got that. I hope you got your pen and paper, because for those of you, even if you already started a business, I know that all of you do not have those 4 wheels. So I definitely, you might want to rewind and go back, because he said a mouthful. But really, really important information. I love that. And that's not, we don't really hear that all the time. And I really like that comparison with the franchises, because you're right. It's almost like franchises set you up for success. But a lot of us, when we get into entrepreneurship, we haven't set ourselves up for that same success.
And I'll tell you, one other thing, a lot of people, they try to start businesses from scratch, and which means that they have a pretty high probability of failing or not being able to truly scale that business. Whereas a lot of people don't think about buying existing businesses and buy something that works. You look at Reginald Lewis, he bought out an existing company. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people, particularly if you can't figure out what to do, buy something that works. Work on raising the capital to buy something that exists. It's kind of like people don't go build, most people don't build their own homes, again, themselves. You may hire a builder that's building it, but you don't build your home. You're like, I'm looking for a place to live. Let me go down to Home Depot, get the wood, get the bricks, get the materials to build my home. But they do that when it comes to a business. They try to build it from scratch instead of, let's go get the business broker. Let's go shop around and find something. Okay, let's look around, make sure the roof isn't going to fall off, the foundation isn't cracked. They go find something that's nice and say, this is comfortable for us. Let's do this. Let's watch it appreciate, and let's flip it. But when it comes to business, people don't do that. They go out there to Home Depot and they want to build their own business. So but hey.
So
I try to make it easy for people, put it that way.
No,
right.
I totally.
That's a great point.
Now, okay, how do we find businesses to invest in? And then I want to segue into nonprofit. But how do we find businesses to invest in?
Sure. Well, there are, again, franchises. There are quite a few franchises. Even in the, for a lot of people, even direct sales has a bad reputation. Like, I don't want to get off into direct sales, network marketing, those kind of things. But for some people, direct sales can make sense. So, for instance, I have a client who's a wedding planner, and we set her up in a direct sales travel business, which makes sense because it's a natural extension of what she does. So she's having a conversation with clients in planning a wedding. She says, hey, have you planned your honeymoon? No, well, I have discount honeymoon packages. Would you like to take a look at them? Okay, great. Let's break it out. And then, that's a natural extension to what she does. But if she's selling juices and knives and coffee beans, and again, that may be cool if that's your demographic. Those are the people that you have relationships with. But don't try to sell your grandmother a video phone if that's not, if that's not your demographic. So a lot of people, one of the reasons direct sales has such a bad reputation is because you go to friends and family, you try to sell them stuff they have no interest in, no need for, instead of selling things that are a natural extension of who you are, and the circle of influence that you have. So again, franchises are a great way. Working with business brokers can be a great way. Keeping your eye out for people who may be retiring from existing businesses, and just having those conversations and making an offer. Other things are where you're going to get the best deals are when you have these relationships with people. And they'll say, hey, so-and-so is looking to retire, and you're going to these networking events. Or so-and-so's been having some issues. They're going through a divorce. They just want to get rid of the business. The so-and-so just passed away. The child inherited the business and wants nothing to do with it. These are the kind of things that you hear. And I'm not talking about vulture investing. I'm just talking about people who have an interest in leaving that business, but they still want to see the legacy of that business carry on.
That's actually a great point. I mean, and that reminds me, that's one of the ways that you do real estate investing is that you find real estate deals those same ways. And so, I love that perspective. Like, yeah, why don't you do that with business? If you want to be a business owner, why not just see what's already out there? That's actually a great service because, like you said, there definitely are people out there that maybe they don't have children or their children aren't interested, and they have started this business, have poured into it, and want to see it thrive, but they no longer can do it, or no longer have the capacity, or whatever it is. And so to have somebody that they trust that really cares about that business take it over and have it thrive, I think that's a wonderful service as well. So I love that perspective.
Right. And it's also looking at businesses. One of the things that I always talk about is capitalizing on these mega trends and taking something that's already working well in one place and bringing it to another. And it's interesting, particularly when you have the internet and you can communicate with people all over the world. You can say, hey, what's happening in Japan? What's happening in the UK? What's happening there? What's the new trend? Can I bring it here? Can I start it here before it booms? And I was doing an entrepreneurship training in Trinidad and Tobago, and people say, it's very difficult to do things here, and we can't see the opportunity. But for me, all I could see was opportunity everywhere because, I had been to different places, and it was literally like Back to the Future. Like, I've already seen the future. This is what we need to do. And, same thing. I mean, there's some things in Trinidad and Tobago that, would work well here and vice versa. So having that network all around the world and all around the country to say, okay, what's happening in California? They have different types of natural food restaurants that, could boom on the East Coast or could boom in this area. So look for things that are already working well. Just don't infringe on someone's intellectual property, but look for things that are already working well, tweak the concept, and bring it to a place where it's not working. You look at real estate. And you look at the internet. The internet is just digital real estate. And if you had insurance.com, business.com, any of these, so if you recognize that emerging mega trend and you got that prime real estate, you would have a ton of traffic right now. Mobile is also one of those mega trends. A trend that you all are capitalizing on is video, instant on-demand video. So these are things that people should be looking for, things that are already working well. Can I put them in another media channel? Can I put them in another geographic location? Can I take something like television and say, can I cater it for a niche audience? You look at Black entertainment television. A gentleman who's endorsed our work and is Bob Johnson of Black entertainment television. I'm sure a lot of people told him, who would ever want to watch black people on TV all day? And he built $1 billion empire off that and created millions for so many other people because he saw something that other people couldn't see, and he took something that was working well and applied it to a specific audience. When you look at, one of the things we do in our Bearing Young Millionaires program, we have a lot of young people that say, I'm young, so people don't pay attention to me, or I may be female, I may have a disability, I may have something going on that doesn't fit into the quote norm. And that norm is an advantage because if people aren't paying attention to you, that is an opportunity for you to make a ton of money.
Boom. Yeah. I love it. So what are your top?
I have tons of questions. Oh yeah, you got nonprofit, so go ahead.
Yeah, I do have a nonprofit, so I definitely am interested. I am interested in a nonprofit. Also, we're getting a lot of questions from our chat as well, so we'll dive into those as well. But I want to know from you, what are like your top 5 that you do every single day? I've heard of like the crazy 6 or the instant 6 or the, there's different sayings that go around that people do like these 6 things every single day, these 5 things every single day. Do you have a particular number of something that you do every single day that leads to your success in your business?
I have one thing that I do, and that is I identify the most important thing every day that will change the condition of my life and my business, and that is what I focus on. And it's something called the theory of constraints, where what you want to do is you want to look for what is the biggest constraint in your business, and if you move that constraint, can lead to a significant growth in that business. So for me, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the 80-20 principle or the Pareto principle. Well, there's also something that's called the 450 principle, which says you don't even need to do the 20%. You can do the 4%, which will have 50% of the impact. So that's what I'm typically looking for, is what is the 4% that I can focus on and do. And then I also focus a lot on building relationships, particularly at the executive level. That's what is important, is for you to build those relationships that can help the organization grow.
So where do you go to build those relationships? We had a question actually that is a great segue. Where do you meet these people? You know, because these people aren't, you know, probably walking around your neighborhood like, oh, I need to sell my business because it's driving me crazy. You know? Where do you go to meet these individuals, and where do you go to meet corporate type individuals?
Well, as one of my business partners and mentors, Dr. George C. Fraser would say, you have to go to successful people because they damn sure are coming to you. So, you know, you definitely have to go out and build relationships and actually get on the road. But even before I get into that, one of the things that's important to do is to talk about the different types of people. So everyone isn't going to be in a position from a mindset perspective to help you. So I lump people into three categories. One is the visionary leaders, the second will be the early adopters, and the third will be the followers. If you want people to support you, particularly if you don't have a big track record, you want to look for the visionary leaders. And the visionary leaders are the people that, if you read their bios, these are people who have created things, they've launched things, they started things. When we were launching our book and our programs, we went directly to billionaire Bob Johnson. He was the first person to endorse our work, because once he endorsed it, everybody else, you know, if you have a billionaire that says, this is what you need to be doing, it's kind of hard for everybody else to say, well, no, you know. So, going after the visionary leaders. Next will be the early adopters. The early adopters are going to be the key influencers, the opinion voters. They typically control networks or have access to networks. And they're always looking for new and exciting things that they can introduce to their networks. Those are going to be the two groups that you follow, that you want to start with. Then you have the followers. The followers are going to be people who've been in the same job for 20, 30 years. They're looking for social proof. They're not going to want to take a chance on people new. They're going to want to say, well, we'll come back when it's, you've had some success, and, who else is with you? They're going to ask all those kind of crazy questions. So go with the visionary leaders and the early adopters first. Now, once you've identified those people, you also want to create a networking plan. And their networking plan is where you want to identify, it could be anywhere from 5 to 15 people, well, I'll say 5 to 10 people that you want to meet over the next, I'd say 6 to 18 months. And you want to study those people, study, not stalk. But you want to study those people, figure out where they are, what kind of things they're interested in. We've been touching on kind of nonprofits, but one of actually, I might as well segue to this now. So how do you build relationships with people? There are typically a couple of ways. Number one, you can create an income opportunity for that person. Number two, you can create a PR opportunity for that person. Number three, you can connect them with other influential people in your network. And number four is you can support their favorite cause or charity. So for a billionaire, there's not going to be a whole lot of income opportunity most people are going to be able to create for a billionaire. Same thing with the PR opportunity, networking, all those things. So the supporting their favorite cause or charity, or sometimes creating a PR opportunity, giving some positive press, can do a lot to build and grow those relationships. And that was actually one of the things that helped me build a relationship with George Fraser, was creating a PR opportunity for him as well as one of my clients. And
absolutely.
I'll give people one other jewel here, which is a lot of people hear this concept of a win-win and creating a win-win situation. Well, the times have evolved where now a win-win a lot of times is not enough. It's not enough to excite people. So you have to create a win-win-win-win-win, where you have to create wins for like 4 or 5 people all in the same deal to get people excited, because then it moves from being a $100,000 deal to a multi-million-dollar deal, or sometimes even more than that. And then that people says, all of these people are in it, all of these people are involved. When you can create wins for multiple people, that's when you really have something that's going to pique people's interest. One other thing I'll say about connecting with really influential and wealthy people, because they'll say, people, hey, some billionaires, can you set up a meeting with me? Right. And, it's some, small deal. And it's
Can I get the hookup?
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, you have to keep in mind that these people are going to lose money even taking a meeting with you if you're not talking about a multi-million-dollar deal. So, don't go talking to a billionaire about a deal for a couple $100,000. Again, they're going to lose money even talking to you. So, you have to whatever dream or goal you have, make it 10 times bigger than you're currently thinking.
Absolutely.
That right there was a nugget. They will lose money just even entertaining you. Wow.
And that's such a key point. Like, that's such a key point, especially, you guys all know I'm in digital media. I'm all about creating your own platform and creating your own show or having something around that realm, right? Just using your voice and speaking out for whatever it is that you do. And also bringing those that, have like minds with you. To have those conversations, to continue to have. I feel like the more conversations you have, the more money you can make. But like you said, it also ties back into, hey, you have that individual who may be that high profile, what have you. If they don't have time, don't let that deter you, though, away from, what it is that you can do. Because you definitely can make time. If you're in the same place, like you said, if you go to where they are, there is a way for you to sneak in. And while they're there talking about that experience, like I did this with George Fraser, he was already talking. He was already having a conversation. And I was like, hey, would you mind if I record this? He's like, go right ahead. Put it on Facebook Live. And I mean, we got a gazillion comments on, oh my gosh, that was such a great conversation. Oh my goodness. There's so many different ways that you can really take and leverage your media and your platform to have those conversations, so you're not looked at as a nuisance, as a time waster, X, Y, and Z, but you're still creating that value piece. So I'm glad that you touched on that. That was absolutely great. So
actually, while you're on media, this is another jewel for me, because I work with a lot of clients and I help them start media properties for magazines, radio shows,
awesome.
Shows, all that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the big things that people miss about media is that media is not just about creating a PR opportunity. It is about getting access and building relationships with people.
Definitely.
So I encourage people to do shows, to do books, to do all these things, because it allows you to build a relationship with someone. So if all you do is interview that person, you missed out. This is your opportunity to build a relationship with that person, to create that win-win-win, that PR opportunity. And one of the other ways in which you can find those people who are most likely to want to talk to you and at the right time is look for those people who have something to promote. They have a new book, they have a new event, they have a new concert. Those are going to be people that are going to be looking for even the smallest show to get on to promote that, product, service, or thing. But realize that when you develop a media property, it is about building a relationship. And just business, period, is about building relationships. Exactly. And if all you're doing is selling, I don't care how big you are, if all you're doing is selling a product or a service to somebody, you are missing out on a great deal of opportunity. Because what you really want to do is use that product or service as an opportunity to build a relationship, to get to know that person. Because they could be, you could be selling them a $1,000 widget, and that relationship could be worth $1 billion to you, but you just wanted to sell them a phone, you just wanted to sell them some whatever, because you didn't take the opportunity to get to know that person. And so people are really, everyone has access to a ton of wealth, but they just can't see it. And that's a lot of times what we try to teach clients how to do, is to see the opportunity and to put in place the resources. Because for me, that's what wealth is. A lot of people talk about wealth being, the amount of time you can go without having to work, the amount of money that you have in the bank account, and all of that. But for us, wealth is the ability to perceive a market opportunity, bring structure to that opportunity, and bring it to market. That is a license to print money. That is alchemy. That is, taking thoughts and turning them into gold. That's what that is. If you can see an opportunity and bring it to market, you can always make money.
Exactly. I love it. So I've been asking a gazillion questions. So Avalaura, I'm going to let you jump in here.
Well, yeah, we're not even going to have time to get into all of these questions, but I just wanted to piggyback on what you said, because that is exactly, what we did. I guess it's over a year ago now. We invited George Fraser on the show, and he loved it so much. He wanted us to come out to PNC. I ended up now, I teach, this is the second year in a row where I've taught the meditation in the morning, and that all came from interviewing him.
Yeah.
And so you are absolutely right about, we all have that access. It's just, what are we doing with it and how are we leveraging it?
Definitely. And I think to take it a step further too, and for me, everything is wellness, everything is impacting another individual. It also impacts that person's life. I mean, this show, really truthfully, it impacts my life, but I know even further than that, it impacts the individuals that are watching right now. And bringing on someone like you, William, who has all of this insight and all this information that a lot of people, let's just keep it real, they wouldn't have been able to access it if we didn't have this show on YouTube. Because they are so used to being in a YouTube world. Some people are stuck in that, that they're just like, this is where I go for information. And when they're able to search for it and find exactly what they need, you actually pour into someone else's life, someone that you'll probably never meet, never know that you ever spoke to them, but you're speaking directly to them and you don't even have to be present. So that's why it's so important to me, and also to segue into some of your nonprofit work as well. Maternal health is very important to me. As a mother of 6, postpartum depression, all of that, I see that as a route of how we take care of our children. If we could take care of our mothers, our children will be okay. And I know you do some work in that realm as well. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that and share a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, most recently, I've been working with a nonprofit organization called PCOS Challenge. It's the National Polycystic Ovary Syndrome Association. I know that's a mouthful. But polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, is the most common hormone disorder in women. It's also the most common cause of infertility in women. It affects up to 15% of women. A lot of people have never heard of it. You have 50 to 70% of women who are going undiagnosed. But it's a genetic, hormonal, metabolic, and reproductive disorder. It can lead to type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, endometrial cancer, so many other lifelong complications and life-threatening diseases. And, I've had the pleasure of being one of the founding board members with the organization and really helping them to grow from 0 to now over 45,000 members. They're the largest support organization for women with this health condition globally. And that nonprofit work has been personally fulfilling to me. I later found out that members of my family also had PCOS. Again, when you talk about 10 to 15% of women, you're bound to run into some people who do have it that actually never even talked about it. And we do a big event every year in Atlanta where we bring in some of the world's leading experts on PCOS to educate patients and providers about the condition. And most recently, we worked with Congressman David Scott out of Georgia and 20 other leaders in the U.S. House of Representatives to introduce House Resolution 495, which recognizes the seriousness of PCOS and also calls for more research around the condition, as well as improved quality of care for women with PCOS. And it also designates September as PCOS, or Polycystic Ovary Syndrome Awareness Month. As I mentioned, PCOS is the most common cause of infertility, but women with PCOS are also at risk for things like preeclampsia and other conditions in and around pregnancy that can lead to maternal and fetal death.
Wow. And how, we're at the top of the hour, so we definitely have to end soon, but I want you to, just how important is it as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to really be able to give back and work with it, if it's a nonprofit or, whatever the cause or whatever it is that is important to you. How important is that?
Well, I think it's critical. It's one thing that we've always advocated as a part of the Barron Solution Group and our culture, is that, whatever it is you do, you want to make sure that you're giving back or paying it forward. And there are a lot of different ways in which you can do that, from tithing to supporting your favorite cause or charity, but looking to provide support to those organizations and those causes that have had meaning for you and where you can have an impact. There are a lot of great causes, but some of them get billions of dollars, every year, And there are a lot of small nonprofits where your work can have a tremendous impact. And it also becomes a great opportunity for you to get on boards and to build relationships with entrepreneurs. I've had the chance to build relationships with the CEOs of billion-dollar health.
Passionate about.
Yeah.
The beauty of that is that you can, with an organization or with a cause that you are. So thank you for sharing that. This has been awesome. You have truly given some very valuable information. This is definitely an interview I know I can go back and watch again and learn.
And I just want to say and learn like the importance of boards, the importance of us as a community getting on boards and having our say-so on those boards, whether it be nonprofit, private sector, whatever. Just having our voice being heard, because we talk a lot about, and I'm going to say this, and I'm sorry if anybody gets offended. I didn't mean to offend you, but Joel Osteen and him not opening up his church, right, to the victims in Texas, right? And we talk all about, oh, he needs to open the church and he needs to do that, but they have to understand he also has a board that he answers to. So if we have individuals that look like us on those boards, then we're going to speak up and say, yes, you need to open up your church. But on the other end of that, if we don't have individuals that can speak up for us and speak up for the people that, for people like us, then we can't really complain if we're not willing to get out there and invest the time and the resources and our intellectual, property to lend that hand out to those companies and those organizations. So being on boards is so very important. Please go to Google, search up boards, school boards, all of that good stuff, and get involved, because our voices are definitely needed. So with that, I'm going to be quiet. But
well, as the saying goes, if you are not at the table, you are on the menu. So
boom.
That's it. Absolutely. And on that note, we are absolutely on the table. So William, how can people find out more information about you? How can they get your book? How can they, get involved with your organization? Where can they reach you?
Sure. Well, they can find out more about me at baronseries.com, and I'll spell that for people. That's BARON series, SERIES.com, baronseries.com. They can also call toll-free 888-90-BARON. That's 888-90-BARON. And they can find out more about PCOS Challenge and polycystic ovary syndrome at PCOSchallenge.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. You again.
Yes.
I hope that you will definitely contact him, reach out. Phenomenal information. We can tell you love business, that you're absolutely a student of it for sure. So thank you so much for being here tonight. And thank you all for watching. I know that I didn't get to all of your questions. We had so many questions. We don't have enough time. We're only here for an hour. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for your comments, for your questions. Thank you for tuning in each week. We look forward to seeing you next week at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're here every Tuesday to get your PayPal popping, your business booming, and your life and relationships to explode. And now, of course, we are broadening that to Cash App. So if you missed that at the top of the hour, absolutely get your $5. Take that $5, donate it, do whatever you want, but get your $5. Go to bit.ly/put5 on it. Just go to that link and you'll immediately get $5 and get access to Cash App.
Yes.
Look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.